What's good, y'all? It's your girl, it's Fave, just as I'm back with another video today, you guys. You already know what I'm gonna say. If you're new to my channel, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for me, okay? And welcome back to another video. So y'all already know, if y'all have caught up and y'all been on my channel, that this is going to be part 3 of a 3-part series about a fallout that I had with my ex-bestie in Dallas. So you already know what I'm gonna say. Make sure you hype the video, make sure you leave a little comment. We're gonna get right into the part 3 of the story time. So I left off part 2, kind of letting y'all know everything that happened prior to, kind of the situations that we had, kind of why it was a little bit rocky based off of principle and a lot of other weird stuff that happened. So I feel like the trip kind of just like solidified all of the feelings that I felt with all of the situations that happened. So I also told y'all that we ended up in Dallas. So we finally ends up getting there. I go and I get me a memory card. My friend get her makeup, boom. So we kind of like on the phone or whatever when Helmet calls, and you can kind of tell that she has an attitude. And I told y'all that she was kind of like, why y'all, like, I'm checking your location, why y'all still sitting in the parking lot, which I understand to a certain extent because we was kind of pressed for time, but I feel like it was also her just being upset because of all the stuff that happened prior to, which I kind of felt like she should understand. It's not like we was just dilly-dallying, like lollygagging, like we was trying to get there, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that was like a thing. And sorry if y'all hear Zeus snoring in the background. He's acting like he quite literally is a blue collar and literally have been working a 12-hour shift today. But, so excuse him in the background. But anyways, y'all, so, okay, so she's like, y'all still sitting in the parking lot. So she go ahead and she hangs up the phone. I'm like, okay, we leaving. So at that point, I kind of feel like that's when me and friend was kind of looking at each other like, okay, because of how she was acting. Like, I understand her wanting us to be there and wanting to be family and stuff like that, but we had already had so much stuff going on, and we planned on taking pictures, we planned on vlogging, like we create content. So us stopping was necessary anyway. So us stopping was necessary. He is snoring like a grown old man, so us, you know, having to stop was absolutely necessary. So anyway, so we're like, okay, so I felt like we was kind of looking at each other because we both caught the vibe, and we could kind of feel it through the phone. So we finally go ahead and we get to the hotel. So we get to the hotel and everything. I already told y'all we done split the hotel. It done been divvied up and all of that stuff. So we get to the hotel, and she and family, so we kind of unpack and like do all the stuff that we gonna do because we pretty much got to get dressed like immediately. You know, we pretty much got to get dressed immediately. So we go ahead, you know, shower, shave, whatever, and we go ahead and we start getting dressed. And so she family comes, and she comes through the door or whatever. So she come or whatever, and I kind of noticed when she first came that she had her stuff. I can't remember if her makeup was done or if she did. No, she did her makeup there. She did her makeup with us. So she did her makeup also when we was there. Yes, I remember that. And also, let me back up a little bit because I remember before we got there, I think that Friday, she had went to Carbone. And so she was, you know, texting me, talking about how she had this friend. I think her name was like Chloe or something like that. This girl named Chloe. And she's like, yeah, Chloe is so cool. Like, she brought me to Carbone. She blah, blah, blah. And I kind of feel like, I didn't know if she was kind of trying to brag on the girl, making it seem like she had plugs and connects like she did that other girl. I'm not even going to say her name because I don't even feel like getting it started again. I don't even feel like playing right now. I got enough going on. So I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. I'm not thinking really too much of it, but I kind of feel like when she was telling me all the stuff they was doing, she was just trying to make it seem like very luxy. Like, yeah, we had Carbone, you know, when Drake was talking about Carbone, we got to come here. I really wish that you were here, stuff like that. And so I don't know if that was her just genuinely me wanting to be there or if she was kind of trying to flex this Chloe girl. But I don't know any other friends that she had in Dallas outside of one girl. And then the girl I told you about that was a lawyer that was in Houston. Well, 2 girls that were attorneys in Houston. So, okay, anyways, so I'm like, okay, so whatever. So anyway, on top of the fact that y'all know Stub Bay was at the house with me and all that stuff. So I don't know if she was like, I don't know if it was purposeful or not. I really can't tell. I haven't like talked about or thought about this story since then. So I can't even really like analyze or think about how I felt when it was happening. But anyways, okay, so now we all getting dressed. So we all getting dressed, and I end up getting a bottle. So I got a bottle. I had brought a bottle of Hennessy. I don't know why that was our drink of choice at the time, but I ended up getting a bottle of Hennessy. And I just so happened to be talking to this guy. I have so happened to also be talking to this guy, and we call him Black Truck. But not talking to him like that. He was more so of like, I've known him since I worked at the airport way in like my high school days. And we always just been cool, always kept in contact. Always was just like, you know, cool. But I do be like, you trying to be my husband? Because he be working, y'all. He be working. He be getting to the money young, okay? He be working. And he's sweet. He's very sweet. So anyway, so we call him Black Truck. So when I got the Black Truck, when I told y'all on the story with Boneless, he ended up ordering me the Black Truck for my birthday, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, So she's like, yeah, and I can't remember. We had a black truck going somewhere else at the time. Can't remember, but she walks in or whatever. We have the drinks, and we all go ahead and we have our little shots and we have our drinks and everything. And so I'm asking if she wants to Uber because, I'm trying to give her like a little experience, whatever. I'm like, do you want to like Uber? We can just Uber. We can get a black truck. And so she's like, yeah, let's do it. For whatever reason, there was no black trucks in the area or whatever the case may be. I cannot remember what happened, but I ends up ordering the Uber and it ends up being like something that she didn't want. So she ends up telling me to cancel it. So I'm like, okay, well, we don't have time now that we kind of have been getting dressed or whatever. Like, do you want to just want me to drive? Because I already drove. So y'all, mind you, me and T did split the time, but I ended up just having to drive that night as well to STK. Now, I was kind of peeping at the beginning that she had her bag, but she didn't have like a bag like how we had bags. You know how women are when they go on vacation or they're traveling and stuff. She didn't have bags like how we had bags. So I was kind of like, okay, but still not really thinking nothing of it. On top of the fact that she did have the makeup bag when the makeup stayed heavy. So you never know. You never know. The makeup was heavy. So I'm sure that bag was big. So, okay, fine. So now we all dressed and everything. And we get ready to head out. So I ends up just driving. So the whole time we kind of just chop it up talking. It really wasn't too much going on. So we finally get to the restaurant. And I'm like, okay, cool. We get to the restaurant. I think we had a reservation. So we go ahead and we sit down. Everything is gravy. So we go ahead and we sit down and everything. And so she was telling us on the way there that she did invite the Chloe girl. So she's like, yeah, I invited the Chloe girl. But when I invited her, she told me that they was going to be going to this other restaurant. So she didn't know if she was going to come. But she said that she's going to try to slide through. And so I had asked, and I could kind of tell that I feel like, I don't know if she got offended or what. I wasn't being judgmental. I was just asking a question. And I was like, so, you said that your friend going to come, but you just said she went to this new restaurant that opened. She's just going to come here like to show face? Like what? Like what exactly is going on? And then if this is your friend, like how you saying it is or how you was describing it to me the day before I got here, why is she going out to dinner on your birthday and not coming to your birthday dinner? Like, I didn't say it like that, but that's like what I was kind of leaning toward. Like, I was trying to understand what exactly was happening. So I'm like, okay, whatever. If you like it, I love it. I don't know her. She don't know me. It is what it is. And so I'm like, okay. So now at this point, we all sit at the table and everything. And, she's asking me to take pictures of her. So I'm taking pictures of her. I'm doing all this stuff. And we having us a good time. She's talking about this new makeup. She's talking about this new gas. She's talking about all of this stuff. She's like, yeah, he just bought me some Kayali. She's saying all of this stuff. Man, he's a whole nother story. But if she liked it at the time, then I loved it. I ain't even going to do all of that. Fine. So now we sitting at the table and we order some food and stuff. And I feel like she was kind of like, I don't know that if she said this to a friend, but kind of talking to me about the prices of like the dinner and all that stuff. I had already planned on paying for her dinner, but I feel like once we had the conversation, I was like, okay, whatever. She kind of talked about the prices and stuff like that, but I had already planned on paying for her dinner. So now we kind of having a conversation and she starts talking about ordering one thing. And then once I told her that I was going to pay for the dinner, it ended up being more than what she wanted before. I'm like, okay, so if you like chicken, why is that? Because I'm paying for your dinner. You want a ribeye steak with mashed potatoes, gravy, lobster mac, and a drink. Plus, you know what I'm saying? That's very much what it was giving. And I didn't like that. And I kind of felt like she was like that with my friend too. But I didn't know until after the fact. And so I was just like, oh yes, it's very like, I just feel like she was just very opportunistic. And I understand wanting to network and grab those opportunities and stuff like that, but it's certain people that you do that type of stuff with, not your real homegirls, not the people that's really standing behind you and really cool with you, and just went through all this stuff just to come down here, even though me and you was just beefing and you was popping it about me, then popped it about Shorty when she was just in the same room as us. So it was a lot. But I wasn't trying to bring that energy into her dinner. So whatever, we go ahead and we order the food and everything. Cool. So she's sitting in the middle, friend is on her left, I'm on her right. So toward the end of us having dinner and all that stuff, I can't remember what the conversation was like, but it wasn't nothing bad. So it's really nothing to like kind of talk about or discuss or anything. So I'm like, okay, so now at this point, the Chloe girl and some boy ends up walking in. So the Chloe girl and the boy ends up walking in, and her friend is stank as hell, y'all. Her friend is so stank. She's acting so like she's really like that. Whole time BBL botched. Whole time lips is full. Like, be for real. Overly loaded. Throw it. out the window, hoe, because you ain't never thought. And I felt that energy from her off rip, and I'm kind of like, okay. And I feel like she wasn't really speaking to, I don't know how my friend felt, but I feel like she wasn't even really conversating or even trying to be cool with us or anything like that. Not saying we have to be buddy, but when you're coming into somewhere and there's a bunch of people at the table, you speak to everybody, you say hi, you know what I'm saying? You kind of have that banter, you know what I'm saying? You come in here for something, so whatever. But the guy that she was with, he was a gay guy. He was very, very nice. He was real cool. He was telling us about the restaurant that they had went to. He was telling us everything. He was a very good energy. He was very good, like high energy. He was good. Then now that I'm thinking about it too, y'all, I remember in my head, I'm seeing it. I was sitting at the desk doing my makeup and I poured some Hennessy, but I don't think I brought the Hennessy because I think me and my friend had bought Don Julio. I think she may have brought the Hennessy, so she had already been drinking. Somebody brought the Hennessy, but for some reason I thought that I brought it, but it was because I think I poured it first. But anyways, back to the dinner. So he was really good. He was like really high energy, and I feel like he had like really good energy. So anyway, so they like, okay, you know, we had like our little conversation or whatever, and Chloe is sitting there basically texting away like on her phone. Like if that's what she was gonna do, you could have just did, you know, texting down, doing whatever. And I could kind of tell as I'm looking at Helmet that she's kind of looking at Chloe, but it's kind of like in a way where I feel like she was kind of trying to like impress her. I kind of felt like she was kind of trying to like impress her, or felt like it was like a point or like something to prove, because while we was friends, we did go to nice places, but I ain't never been to STK. You know what I'm saying? I had never been to STK, on top of the fact that Houston doesn't have one. So you know what I'm saying? I kind of felt like it was something like on the realm of that, and that's also why I kind of feel like she was kind of telling me about like Carbone and stuff like that. But don't get it twisted, because I fan Dan when I want to fan Dan, but I'm kind of like, okay, like whatever. It was just a lot, and it was just a lot of energy. So I could kind of tell that Helmet was kind of looking like, okay, so-and-so's on her phone, whatever. So anyways, they honestly didn't stay long. They didn't stay long. And then on top of that, the food that I had ordered and that we was paying for, was she was offering them the food. She was offering them stuff. And I'm like, you're not even paying for that. On top of that, that's mine. Like, it was kind of stuff like that, which is little stuff like that. Like, there ain't nothing wrong with sharing. Everybody at the table was sharing, but everybody at the table was also paying. You know what I'm saying? So whatever. Anyways, after so long, Chloe and the boy ends up like leaving or whatever. And we kind of like debriefed and kind of talked about it like a little bit. But I kind of feel like she wasn't really trying to have our convo all kind of like that. So it was just a lot of just really heavy, thick, weird energy, in my opinion. So anyways, after that, we go ahead, we pay for dinner and all of that stuff. The bill was billing, baby. The bill was billing. I said, yeah, let's snap up. Let's make these videos. Let's make these vlogs. Let me get my money back. That's what I'm thinking in my head whole time. But also, let me clarify, because I feel like y'all be funny in the comments sometimes. For a friend, I will go to the ends of the earth. Like y'all know, and like I have literally told y'all on these stories, I will go to the end of the earth. So it's not the price of the food. It's not her ordering whatever that she wanted. It wasn't even the people that was there, because it was about her. But it was just so much that was going on that I felt like, don't do me anything weird or anything crazy or anything additional because other people are around, or because you're trying to prove a point. Or I don't like that type of stuff. I don't like that, because I feel like a lot of people change when they get around certain people, and I hate that. I hate that with a passion, because I'm gonna act the same exact way that I act with you, like when I am by myself, when I'm with other people, or when it's just us, or whatever the case may be. Like, it's been multiple times. Like, even when people come and visit and I introduce my friends to them or whatever, I always treat everybody the same. I ask if everybody good, you know, all that, mingle, take pictures, take videos, everybody. Like, it's always the same with me. And so it's hard for me to grasp the fact that so many people are good at switching faces. And I feel like that's what really drove me and pissed me off. So, okay, fam. So now we in the bathroom, we taking pictures, we posting up and doing all of that stuff. And the energy's a little bit better because I feel like we had some drinks. And I feel like that was also used to be like a problem. Like, while I drink, y'all, shawty could drink. And I feel like that was like the only times where she would like really, really be happy, or where her face wouldn't be frowned up, sad down. Like, often. Like, that was the only time where I feel like she didn't have no dark clouds sometimes, you know? So, you know, we having a good time. So now at this point, we go ahead, we get the car and everything. So I'm driving, you know, I'm chauffeuring, I'm doing whatever. So now at this point, she's like, I want to show y'all Dallas. So we going, we looking, we going around Dallas. We doing like our little 1-2 and everything. Okay, cool. And then that's just kind of like that whole thing or whatever, right? So after that, we end up going to a club. So we end up going to some like strip club or whatever, but we end up sitting in the parking lot for quite some time. Y'all know how it is when y'all parking lot pimping. So I'm thinking that it's completely innocent. So now at this point, I'm toe up because I've been drinking way too much. So I'm driving, then I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna lie, I can't drive no more. So I believe that Helmet starts driving. And we ended up having to stop at the gas station. We all had to get electrolyte. We had to get some essentials. We had to get BC powder. Like, we was in it. We had been drinking for hours. You know what I'm saying? On top of the fact that the energy, I wanted the energy that we had to continue. I didn't want to feel nothing else that we had felt prior to all of this. So anyway, so we ended up pulling up and we parking lot pimping at this club. I'm not even dressed for the club whole time. I'm not even dressed for the club. I have on like this silk dress. Like the other two girls a little bit more so, but I have on like this silk dress. Like, whose club am I going in like this? Like, whose club am I going in like this? So, okay, cool. So now we sit in the parking lot. We having us some drinks and stuff. And we start talking about relationships. We start talking about guys, start talking about relationships. And then I feel like that conversation got very thick as well. And so we ended up getting out the car. But prior to that, we was chopping it up with the security and all that stuff. All of that, whatever. They was talking to us through the window, everything. Cool. We finally decided to get out and go in. So I got my camera in my purse. But before we decided to go in, me and friend was kind of like, we really just don't feel like going because we had already had just such a long day. Still not trying to ruin her day. So before we even get out, we like, man, you know, we tired. Woo, woo. So we like, let's vote on it. So the two of us was kind of like, you know, she's like, well, I could tell you I don't want to go, but I want to go, blah, blah, blah. So me and friend was kind of just like, okay, whatever. So we ended up going, but I had my camera in my purse. They doing whole security sweeps. Like, I'm like, what's going on? The line is hella long. It's some girls in line with their shoes off. Some girls, it's just hella ratchet. They sitting in line, they vaping, they look crazy. It's humid. Their hair is looking wild. Everything is looking wild. And I'm like, where is we at? And she basically telling us we borderline the hood. I'm like, this is a lie. We borderline the hood at this point. Okay. Now we get to the front. Y'all, they have whole metal detectors like the can at the airport. They got metal detectors and wands like the can that they got at the airport. I'm sitting here like, where is we at? Look at how I'm dressed, gang. Like, nah, this ain't gonna work. But I'm still not seeing nothing. So he ends up searching my purse. He like, you can't get in there with this camera. You're gonna have to take this back to your car. You gotta take it back to your car. So I'm like, okay. So we ends up going ahead and we walks back to the car. Man, y'all, this land is long, like down the block damn near. They got barricades and everything for this strip club. And I'm just like, okay, fam, whatever. So we go ahead, boom, do our little 1, 2, whatever, go back to the car. And once we get to the car, we kind of like, I don't know who initiated it, but she's like, y'all don't even want to be here, or y'all want to leave, woo, woo, whatever. And I kind of feel like she had an attitude because we kind of agreed to be like, we good based off of the fact that we full, we tired, we've been driving up all night the night before. We just had all of this stuff happen with the hotel, everything. So now, just the conversation itself, nothing bad happened really with the hotel, the Uber situation, all that. So we get back to the room. We get back to the room and she grabs her stuff and she leaves. And so we like, hold on, like, you not staying? I'm not knowing that she's not staying there. She's like, oh no, I'm gonna go and sleep at my friend's house. And it's her home girl. So this girl that she was cool with, we'll talk about her too. This girl that she cool with. So I'm kind of looking like, how did you invite us out for your birthday, had an attitude, raised hell about it, just for us to come here, us two was sleeping in this one room on your birthday weekend, and you're leaving to go and sleep somewhere else? All of that because she didn't want to pay for an extra night. Like, how you gonna leave us here for you to go to your friend's house for the free ski after you just raised hell all this time? But you know what? Okay, fam. Whatever. So the next day comes, we get ready. She comes back to the hotel. So unnecessary, but she comes back to the hotel. Then I got her low too, right? I check her low. It's not even that far. So I'm like, it's all because she didn't want to pay, which I feel like was just completely just unfair, but okay. So now at this point, we get up, it's the next day, and we go ahead and we get dressed, we get ready and all that stuff, and we end up going out to eat. So all three of us get dressed. We end up going out to eat or whatever. So, of course, I'm driving. So, boom. I'm driving, we go ahead and we go to this little restaurant. Mind you, this is Sunday. I was still working a full-time job at the time, so I had to go to work early in the morning. I had work at 8 in the morning, so I was basically saying like, I can't just dilly-dally out here all night, so let's do this stuff like kind of during the morning, because I still have a 4-hour drive back by myself, and I still got to go and get Zeus. So, okay. So now we go to this little restaurant. We go to the little restaurant. It was a really, really good job. I'm gonna see if I can find a video, because that food was busting to no lie. They did take quite a while to bring us our stuff. It was a lot. They was taking a long time to bring our stuff. We had not lobster mac. What is it? Lobster mac. What is it? To be on a little, I don't know, whatever be on the brioche toast with the crab in it. I forgot what it's called, but that's what I had. My friend wasn't eating meat at the time, so she had like some calamari. Then we had like these mozzarella balls. Y'all, the food was so good. The daiquiris was so good. It was good. And so then that was the day of her actual birthday. So Friday was the dinner, but Saturday was the day of her actual birthday. So we sitting there or whatever, and she's basically kind of like pressing me, asking me if I'm about to make her post, if I'm gonna make her post. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make your post. I'm gonna make your post. Like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna make a post, because like, I don't know if y'all friends with me on Instagram, but if you aren't friends with me on Instagram and follow me at JST_. But I'm very big on birthdays. I want to be celebrated, and I want to celebrate somebody how they want to be celebrated and make them feel good. So I always make birthday posts. If y'all can attest to my birthday post, comment down below, because I love me a good birthday post. So I'll go ahead, I make like a whole collage. I, write like a bunch of stuff or whatever and everything. And she wasn't like a very affectionate person. I feel like I'm a little bit more affectionate. So she was like happy and like all that stuff or whatever. Cool. We cool and having a good time. Man, this is the day that we're supposed to go to the fair. So now at this point, they taking forever to bring our bill. They taking forever to bring our bill. Taking forever to bring our bill. Y'all already know that she kind of had like this little thing where she kind of felt like me and friend was closer, this and the third. So me and friend playing around while I'm making a post, and friend like taking my phone, blah blah blah. Energy shift. You could tell that she was kind of like, but it was just like it wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? We having a good time. We drinking, we eating, we feel good. We in Dallas. We had us STK yesterday. Like, it's cute. It's fun, So anyways, y'all, these niggas took way too long. They ended up taking way too long with our bill. So you want to know what we did? We dined and we dashed. We left. That was probably one of the first times that I can remember off rip, because I done dined and dashed in Miami with Jamel a couple times. But that was probably like some years ago. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Listen, if you don't want my money, just say that. Plus that we was lit, y'all, but it was crazy because we dined and dashed. But y'all, when I say that we was on like the 4th floor, because I think we took an elevator. No, we took stairs. The elevator wasn't working, or something wasn't working, but they had like 4 flights of stairs, y'all. We had to come all the way from the rooftop. It was a rooftop, all the way from up there, all the way down and across the street. Then after we crossed the street, go about a block or two, and then get to the car. I'm like, so we running, right? So we running, so me and friend running or whatever. And I'm like, now let's make this light. But helmet was behind us. So friend grabbed my hand and we runs across the street. She's like, come on, let's make this light. So we running or whatever, we giggling and stuff. So we look back and she's on the other side of the street and she like, And I'm like, okay, like I always just felt like I was in trouble. Like she would just like mama my ass. I always felt like I was in trouble. Like, girl, relax. Like, whereas you like unfold your arms, we finna go to the fair, whatever. So boom, y'all. So now at this point, my uncle lives in Dallas. So we ends up meeting him at a different place, whatever. So we ride to the place, whatever. At this point, I'm in the back because I'm tired of driving and I got a whole 4-hour drive. So now at this point, I'm like, okay, so we go ahead and we get in the car and we get ready to go and meet my uncle. Man, I asked everybody, I'm like, is that cool? You know what I'm saying? I want to see him before I leave. Y'all know I got to leave. Literally, like my time to leave, I had told them was at least by 8. That way I can get home at least by midnight. So I'm like, at least by 7, 8, or, this was so that I can catch the sun still. I don't have to be driving all night. And I still have to get the dog. So, okay, so I'm like, it's cool. We can go and meet my uncle. So we go ahead, we go meet my uncle. He buys a bunch of drinks. We have a bunch of shots. We having a good time. They in there playing Uno. They playing cards. They just having a good time. So we had like that whole little thing. Now, this is when it got a little more fragile. She was more so like, I am so greasy. But she is more like, she had more freedom when it came to work. She had more freedom when it came to work, and she was more free when it came to work. So I feel like she kind of like, she knew what my schedule was. She knew I had to go to work. She knew all this stuff. On top of the fact that, y'all, I was already like on thin ice already at work. So anyway, so now at this point, we cooling, we chilling at the little place, whatever, where we had met my uncle and everything. And so now what, her and friends trying to convince me, they're trying to convince me like, no, you should stay, you should stay. Really, it was more so like hell mix trying to like to convince me to stay. And it's crazy because I remember once on 4th of July, I had said I had to go to work. She's like, just call in, you need to stay, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, listen, don't encourage me to do no mess. Cause if I lose my job, you ain't gonna pay my bills. You feel me? So she's like, no, you should stay, blah, 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 blah. We finna try to go to like the fair and all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, fam. So we end up going ahead and leaving there and still going to the fair. So it was still a little bit, I still had a little bit of time. So before we went to, no, or was it the opposite? Hold on, y'all. It was the opposite. I'm sorry. It was the opposite. So we end up going to, did we go do that after, before or after? Let me see. Okay, y'all. So now at this point, we done went, we had the drinks, we did all this stuff, and we still trying to make it to the fair. So I'm still trying to be like present and still trying to be like, okay, cool, but I'm still watching the clock. Now, Helmet already knew that I was on thin ice when it came to work. I was on thin ice already when it came to work, and I was not trying to, like, I couldn't do nothing additional. Like I had to be at work that next day, because I remember on 4th of July, I ended up trying to go in late because we were so towed up, getting lit. Just call in, just quit your job. I don't think the friends should be telling you stuff like that. I'm like, girl, you tripping. The answer is no, because if I need a shoulder to lean on, yours ain't leanable. So, okay. Now we go, after we have like our drinks and stuff and everything. So now we're still trying to hit the fair. So we're trying to hit the fair. Granted, y'all, I had never been to a fair in Dallas, so I really didn't know how it was going to be. I really didn't know what the vibes was going to be like or anything like that. So we get there packed, police everywhere, can't find nowhere to park. Ended up paying, I think, either $20 or $40 to park, one of the two. And on top of the fact that we ended up buying tickets twice because she was supposed to be going to the fair with some guy. Ended up going with me and friends. So we gets to the fair, y'all, and the line is literally, when I say out the parking lot, the line is down the corner, around the parking lot, all the way down by our corner store. Like, it's super long. And so I'm like, y'all, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, and plus that we had sat in the car and was congregating and all that stuff too, and we should have been getting land, but we sitting there congregating and all that stuff, and I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm not gonna make it. So I felt bad because that we had, I think since I drove, somebody else paid for parking. So whoever had paid for parking, I ended up just sending them the money and for the ticket too, because I was like, I really don't, like, this ain't gonna, like, I literally have to leave, you know? So I ended up having to drive them back to the hotel. But whole time, Helmet, damn near, friend had bought her ticket because the other guy that she was supposed to go with was supposed to buy her ticket. It was a mess. Long story short, friend ends up paying for the parking and she ends up paying for 2 tickets twice. So I'm like, nah, so I sent her the money. I don't know what Helmet did or if she sent her anything or what she did, but honestly, y'all, probably nothing. So it was literally like, it was just a mess. So it was like, we literally went to Dallas. This girl didn't stay in the room with us. We had the whole issue on our way going there. We had 2 issues, me and Helmet, on our way on the whole situation prior to. Like, it was just a lot of energy. Chloe was getting on my everlasting. Like, it was a lot of energy. So anyways, I finally get home. I get to the dog sitter. They ended up charging me a little bit more because I ended up getting him late because I you know, kind of got to him late because I was trying to be a people pleaser. So fine, all that happens or whatever, y'all. And pretty much after that, I just went home. Let them know when I got home, everything was good. So the night that I didn't spend the night in the hotel, Helmet ends up spending the night in the hotel. Whole time, I'm like, I was wondering why, because we had a whole king size bed. I'm like, why did we didn't have doubles anyway? But it was because she had already premeditated and planned that whole situation. On top of the fact that she stayed with her friend, but then that's that karma too. She stayed with her friend, ended up having to cater and take care of her friend and all that stuff because she got drunk, throwing up everywhere, peed on herself, all type of stuff, y'all. Just all type of stuff was happening. It was too much. Like, my brain, the way that I think, when trauma or stuff like this happens, I put it so far back in my mind that when I come and I tell y'all stories, I literally have to like picture myself and be there again because I get that shit out of my system immediately. So that whole situation happened. So anyway, so now it's the next day. It's Monday. I'm off work, and they about to get ready to head. They about to get ready to head home. So talking to them, chopping it up on the phone. They had got home maybe around like 8 or 9, maybe something like that, because I remember it being dark because friend had called me. So friend had called me, and they was around looking at houses and all that stuff, this, that, and the third. And so friend ends up calling me, and Helmet had a problem with that. Helmet had a problem with the fact that friend was calling me, telling me that that was bad what they was doing. I was like, well, you know what y'all doing? Like, I wasn't thinking nothing of it. Like, cause I'm just not a jealous friend. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not a jealous friend. Like, I want all my friends to be friends. And if that was the case, I would have been mad and tried to stay, or anything. It could have been a plethora of things. So she was like, yeah, no, we back in the city or whatever. Me and Helmet is around. We looking at houses. Whole time Helmet popping it because friend wants to come over to the house and see me. Why do you want to go over there? What? We were doing something. Why don't you want to go? What? Blah, blah, blah. Just saying everything. And then my whole thing is this. I never understood why it's an issue that my friend likes me. And I feel like that's so weird to me. I feel like girls just do weird stuff like that. So anyways, long story short, after all of the dust has settled, this, that, and the third, I kind of felt like and when she was lit, she kind of started pressing me, asking me about Stud Bay again, trying to make it seem like the reason that I was rushing home because of that one really was because of Zeus. It was because of work. And I just really wasn't fucking with the vibes. So after it was all said and done, we did have a conversation because I felt like she just kept seeing little stuff. It was already so much stuff going on. So we had a conversation. We did end up falling out behind that conversation, all because of this trip to Dallas, y'all. Literally all because of this trip to Dallas. That is how it all happened. We did end up being cool after the fact, but that was part of the reason why we fell out. Our entire friendship, I feel like we only had a couple of fallouts, but I do feel like they were behind good reason. Like, I feel like a lot of the reasons that we fell out were very good reasons. I feel like sometimes women can fall out with you about petty stuff, but it's quick to give a nigga a million chances. I'm not that type of friend. Like, I'm a ride with you. I'm a rock with you until I can't roll with you no more. You know what I'm saying? So that's how everything happened. To this day, I feel like that trip was overly bogus, but it is what it is. The trip was the trip. That was my first time and last time in Dallas, and that's just that on that, y'all. I hope that y'all enjoyed this story time. Zeus is landing now, but I hope y'all enjoyed this story time, and make sure y'all comment down below. Let me know what y'all thought. Let me know what y'all would have did if y'all was me, and I'm gonna talk to y'all in the comments, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.